Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a good evening. It's Saturday night. It's Final Fantasy time. Let's make sure things aren't echoing on my side. That would be good. So we have Rhokubee, and we have Funknasty. They're about to do battle here with Final Fantasy 1. This is the Pixel Remaster version. And we're ready to have some fun tonight. So you see the same party selections on both sides. Double Black Mage strats just have proven to be the fastest way to go, so that's what we do. What we're doing right now is group play. We split everybody into two groups, and you play everybody in your group. Then best record advances. So that's how we're doing a little abbreviated tournament to have some fun here at the end of the year with Final Fantasy 1. This is the Pixel Remaster version, available on Steam. You can get it right now if you so want to. And Rokubee's timer is reset, so that's okay. We're synced up anyways. So this is, as I said, Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster version. Starts with an extended cutscene. Takes just under 2 minutes to get through it all, just what you want at the start of a speedrun. But that's what they gave us, so that's what we deal with. One of the nice things about racing this instead of doing personal best attempts is that at least you don't have to watch the opening cutscene more than once per game. PvP nights, you might be seeing it a whole lot. So the order of the day is kill a bunch of stuff, get some levels, get to Chaos, and do just enough damage to get past him before he kills us. That's going to take us about 2 hours on a good run, and on a bad run it goes closer to 2.5. But here we go. Once we're in control, you've got some options for setting up your controls. Everybody's going to turn on cursor memory. That is a nice feature. You can also turn on continuous battle. It is an option. You may or may not do it. And then gear-wise, we want to pick up a sword and also the chainmail to give our fighter a little bit of defense. Then magic, because magic is what's going to get us past Garland. We need to be able to spam spells a little bit from the black mages. The black belt is basically being carried for the next 90 minutes. And then the black belt gets to do his thing. Another little addition they made, they wanted to make sure you weren't missing out on the lore by just, accidentally running into Garland. So the game makes you come up and talk to the king when you try to leave town. You can't go. Well, I don't know, you might be able to go to Garland anyways, but you'd just be on the noob stuff with no magic, and that wouldn't be fun. Alright, we usually 1 to 2 fights on the way to Garland. And they may be enough to get you to level 2, that is nice. The bigger thing is you don't want to take too much HP damage before you get into this Garland fight, because his big hits can be pretty nasty against the wrong party member. Particularly squishy black mages. Or big crits against either the fighter or black belt can be a pain too. Rhokubee seems to be doing alright here. It is through the Garland fight as Funknasty gets started with it. A couple shots of the Thunder spell will take out Garland. If you get the 4 spell charges off, you'll win the fight regardless of melee damage, but the melee damage may help you get there faster. And also if Garland's one-shots one of the black mages, you need the melee damage to do enough cumulative to get it off. Hey, rare sword drop there for fun. Rare drops are always nice because, well, more than anything, we need money. Money, 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 money is in short supply in the early games, so we need all of it that we can get. Ooh, Rhokubee forgot to talk to the princess, and you get forced back. Well, you know, actually, that's one extra dialogue box in one step. That's not that bad. Interesting. I wonder if Rhokubee did that intentionally. It's significantly slower to try and leave the room in the PSP version, so they made that a lot better in this version. It's the first time I've seen it that way. Well, a reward for saving the princess is a bridge that lets us continue our journey, and a used musical instrument that they just had laying around. Chat, do you have any used musical instruments just laying around? I am curious about this now, and we have a couple of cutscenes to get through, so this is a good time to talk about used musical instruments. I have a trumpet sitting around somewhere from school band days. Yeah, once you have a built bridge, it's time to rest at the end to get magic points back. Does the trumpet break magic seal slabs? Well, if I ever encounter one, I'll let you know. The infectious one, Will Cleosis, is in the chat. Hey, Will. Alright, so now you get another cutscene. This one's not as long as the one at the start of the game, but it is more annoying. So it has that going for it. Because you're like, let's ready, let's go. I've been playing the game. Let's go. Cutscene. Long cutscene at that. Next destination for the runners is Provoca. Both of them had pretty decent RNG at the very early game in taking no character deaths, because every time you have to revive a character, that's money you don't have for resources for the Marsh Cave. And boy, do you want resources for the Marsh Cave. Potions, very important for getting through that section of the game. And the more you can stretch your coins, the better. Chad, any of you have one of those stretch coin souvenirs? You like put the penny in with the 2 quarters and you turn the crank and it makes some souvenir design on the penny? And if so, where is the weirdest place that you've gotten one from? Rhokubee about through this cutscene. Last text just has to run off the screen. And onward! We can finally play the game. There'll be more cutscenes, but none of them nearly that long. So the Black Belt, we took all their stuff. We don't really need the Black Belt to have stuff. Not right now. Wolves are a very annoying enemy in this game, mainly because the rewards just aren't good. They're quick, so they love to do damage, they're hard to run from, and just don't give you anything for rewards. Funk has what I call the trail mix fight, because you've got enemies of all stripes in this one. It's a pretty annoying encounter itself. Once you're in Provoca, Temper is the order of the day. It's a pretty important spell for the run. You pick that up, recover your magic before the pirates, and then it's mini-boss hype. Pretty clean fights for both runners to get here. Funk ran out of MP for this lizard because of the trail mix fight being annoying, but now gets through. It's power time for Rhokubee. All his characters should one-shot a pirate, and you're really hoping to get through this without the pirates killing one of the black mages. Preferably, especially not both of them, because it's close and that's bad RNG for Rhokubee. That's going to make this a really slow fight. And honestly, I would probably reset out of it, which you can't do till you're done, rather than losing both black mages. But tough call, because that was just a long, slow fight. It was pretty awful for Rhokubee, and I think on Funk's side, we're going to see it go a lot faster than that. I also wonder if Rhokubee is behind a level to Funk. It's hard for me to track that when watching these. But yeah, there you go. Basically neck and neck now because of Funk getting through that fight deathless. Your reward? You get a boat! Mohawk dude getting in the way twice there. Unpleasant. Our next destination is the land of the elves. It can be a little bit roundabout to get there depending on what a runner decides to do. Sahagins are much like wolves in that they take up time and their rewards aren't very good, but they are a little better, but still very annoying. One of the ways you can get through this, you can blitz to Elfland and run from stuff when you run out of MP, or you can stop at Canaria intentionally and that'll refill your MP not quite halfway. You could do an extra fight before you go into Elfland if you really want money on that MP usually. So all Sahagins so far, with the big eye thrown in for bad measure. Funk intentionally taking that fight on the water instead of land. Had a couple of thunder charges left and wanted to get the better gold fight. Ideally you want to see Buccaneers out here. Definitely better gold for that. But you can't always get what you want. But if we try sometimes, we just might get to 1,000 gold before Elfland because we need at least that much to make a purchase of Thunder. And looks like Rhokubee is trying to farm a bit. Hey, Funknasty gets our first different enemy in a while with a shark. And both runners get clear of their fights. Funk's going to be the first one into Elfland. Again, wanting to burn up that magic beforehand. Gets the Buccaneers. Now this could get a little annoying depending on how many charges are left of that Thunder. You may have to melee here. Oh, no, that's going to be perfect. Basically couldn't be any better there for Funk. One black mage out of MP means one less one-shot available, unfortunately. The big guys can stun, but it's hard for them to stun lock you particularly. And here we go with our first look at Elfland. Thunder is a very important spell. It's our first AoE that we're able to pick up. Thunder, or whatever it's called. It's lit too. They should have kept the US naming scheme, I'm just saying. That's going to have the ability to clear out most of our encounters in one shot now. Rhokubee choosing to do the farming up by Canaria with the cheaper inn, and that's one way to help your gold stretch out. Also, the Sahagins have a chance to drop potions at a decent rate, so you can pick up a couple safeties by fighting them. Alright, Thunder is probably not going to one-shot the sharks yet, because our intelligence score is not high enough. Nope, we're good. Never mind. Scratch that! So Thunder is going to clear everything here in one shot, which means it's going to be very profitable to be on the seas. You can see just how much faster that goes when it's just one turn versus 6 or so for the Sahagins. And Funk going to use up all those spell charges to get through this efficiently. It's not just the Thunder spell that you want, but you're gonna need a stock of potions to get through Marsh Cave. And you may also be farming for a little bit of levels / HP to do it better. Ogres! Ogres are a good thing to fight in the early game. They are a decent source of experience and gold. This is an interesting decision by Rhokubee in that these fights are definitely going slower using just the Thunder charges. But it definitely will help the gold stretch further, other than you might actually be doing more instays because of doing just the Thunder charges. As opposed to Funk using them up after the Thundara charges. So, little divergence there. Picking up the Iron Shield, it's some pretty good defense on the cheap. And then, how many antidotes do we want? Yes. Also, you'll want to grab a few regular potions here. That money did not go very far. I would not feel good about going to Marsh on that little resources, but Funknasty's gonna go for it. Also bought a couple of tents, but you can't use tents inside the cave. You're gonna have to use those outside on the overworld map. We do have to spend some time on the overworld map, though. Now Rhokubee's got an ogre fight on the way into Elfland. An ogre's a very rewarding encounter. And now Rhokubee's finally going to be able to pick up the Thunder spell. Funk looks to be wanting to use up some more magic before using the tent going into Marsh Cave. Got an extra antidote. 5 is not as many as I like. I'll be honest, in a race setting, my target number is 8. Now, I play a slower, more conservative path here particularly, but I have certainly used 7 antidotes to get through Earth Cave. You can get around it, and 4 is a fine number, especially if you're making PB runs. I want to fully explain what the difference is. The biggest thing, though, is you're more prone to resets. Because if you're out of antidotes and you get poisoned, then you have a death. And you really can't revive this early. There's one Phoenix down available, and that's here. But you only have one, and if you run into ambushing scorpions who take out one of your black mages, that's where you're going to need it for them. So you really don't want to lose it to some poison. Look, Leos is in chat wondering if Astos stole his pizza. Very evil of Astos if that's what happened. So there you go. You're in here in the Earth Cave, and you don't... not Earth Cave. In the Marsh Cave with only one antidote to get out of here on. And now you get 2 poisons in one fight, and you're in trouble. So that's... The game knows exactly how many you bought. And it loves to make you use them. And if you didn't buy any, well, that would work out even worse. A couple things available in this marsh cave. There's a cabin, there's a little bit of gold. The cabin, ideally, you're going to sell because it's a really great selling vendor trash, if you will. It's not trash, but it is vendor item. So Funk is out of potions now. I think one left. And if you take hits from these Pisca demons, you're going to need that one. Big hit, one shot the black mage. Big damage to the other black mage. And not high enough intelligence to one-shot the Pisca Demon's gonna take 2. There we go, Funk is past the fight. And there you go. You're gonna have to save scum your way out of here because there's only one antidote, there's only one potion, and you really need to revive that black mage. Although, I would probably leave the black mage down until after leaving Marsh Cave. Because if stuff's gonna kill you, better that it kill you. And that may be exactly what happens with these scorpions. Alright, so there's the first reload for Funk. Rhokubee getting some of the treasures around here elsewise. And only had one antidote left with 2 people poisoned. So now you're losing that fighter to that poison at some point. Or to the Pisca Demons, that works too. I mean, really tomato at that point. But Rhokubee has the crown. And Funk has used his last potion. There is another potion in that room that is left of Funk. I don't think I would go get it, but it is there. It's a lot of extra steps for just a potion. Rhokubee had a little bit better time getting up that floor. I say that, of course, also has a dead black mage. But more potions left at that point. Is Funk out of this marsh cave? Yes. So onward to Astos. And again, Funk still has to hope to not get poisoned on this overworld. There are enemies that can do it, too. Speaking of enemies that can poison, Rhokubee runs into werewolves. Funk gets the regular wolves. So in any race setting, you have to choose trade-offs, and when you choose to roll the RNG dice, sometimes this is what it does to you in making our runners reload, lose time, to menuing out and loading the quick save, and refighting some of the fights they have to get out of the place. Your other alternative is farm for more money before coming to the Marsh Cave, which takes time, and then buying the safeties just to hope that you can survive bad RNG. Everything's a trade-off. You always have to consider where you're willing to invest your time. Meanwhile, Rhokubee, facing possible stun lock from the group of death, but gets through it. That's good. And Spunk is ready to do battle with Astos. Astos comes out throwing the sleep and the fire. The fire can one-shot the mages. That's what happened. That's why I love to be able to save that Phoenix down for the Astos fight. I think both runners had to use it already. But Funk is through the fight, has Matoya's crystal, and will be moving on with really no ability to kill any random encounters, so now you just gotta hope the runaway strats work out well. And there, of course, is an ogre as soon as I say that, but Funk is gonna go for the melee strats. And moving on to Elfland. Astos is a pretty good mage, especially this early, and can absolutely wreak havoc on your party when the spells come out. That's what's happened to Rhokubee, down to just the 2 party members, trying to get through this Astos fight. Thunder doesn't do a lot of damage, but it keeps it moving. The death spell from Astos is gonna take out the black belt. This is a nightmare fight going here for Rhokubee. This is one of those, maybe you'll win, but is it even worth it? No. Now just down to the auto battle strats, and the black mage can't even hit. Doing 1 damage, and there Astos is finally gonna finish the job. So that's super annoying when Astos is slow about it. If Astos is gonna kill you, you want it to at least be fast. Funk begins the journey to Matoya's cave. And once on the high seas, it's a good chance to start spamming some thunder spells to hopefully build up your cash. Haste for Astos is pretty good. Astos is not melee much, so you're not terribly worried about Astos being hasted. And it doesn't do anything to stop you, so this is good. The temper charges stack up. Let your black belt do more and more damage. Astos in a haste loop here, and that works out great. Rhokubee able to get through Astos the second time. Funk sees the Buccaneers in force. Great time to see them when you can just spam thunder charges. Alright, we reach Matoya's cave. Matoya wants the crystal back that we just got from Astos. How Astos got it, I have no idea. Don't think about it too much. just as long as we're able to turn it over to Matoya, all works well. Hey, we got a George, the green ogre, hanging out with the double regular ogres. That is a very rewarding encounter. You just have to get through it. Rhokubee almost back to Elfland, and finally is able to bring people back up, use the get Thunder on the second black belt, all that black mage, all that fun stuff. So, like I said, this is a great chance to just spam Thunder charges when you're out on the seas. It's going to one-shot everything and hopefully really build up your cash, because we have a lot of shopping to do in the next couple of minutes. And if Sahagins drop bonus potions, well, that's not terribly awful either. So Rudder's still pretty close at this point. Big benchmark is going to be when we get through the Lich fight. Lich RNG can be pretty awful. And the better time you have there, the better your run is going generally. The money from those Buccaneer fights can go pretty far. So seeing a couple of them as you're on your journey is definitely a good thing. Funknasty's going to give the Jolt Tonic over to revive the Prince. The Prince is going to give us the Magic Key, and the Magic Key is going to net us a whole lot of money in addition to plot progression. So our first destination is going to be the Elfland Treasury. That's worth a couple thousand gold. From there it's on to Canaria. Also, Matoya's Cave has a couple of safety potions you can pick up, as Rhokubee does. It's just that many safety. You could probably get by without them, but hey, it's less that you have to worry about buying. That's always a good thing. Because this money does not stretch terribly far in the early game, as we're soon to see. The Canaria Treasury has the nitro powder that we need for plot progress. It's got a couple of okay things to sell for cash as well. And then the item shop here in Canaria is the last one that we have access to for quite a while, because there is no item shop in Melman. So we gotta get from here to Crescent Lake on whatever we buy. Which is why you need that money to stretch about as far as you can get it to go. Runners are definitely going to want a few antidotes, because one or none is not enough to get you through the Earth Cave. And you'll want a lot of ethers, because the ethers will restore 1 MP per level, and that does wonderful, wonderful things for us, like let us be able to kill many, many enemies with just our black mages. That's going to be important. Then, of course, you're going to need a decent stock of hit point restores, because you are going to take hits and you are going to need to heal them. And then after you do all that, we get to Melbourne that you want spells there, which are also expensive, so that's one of the reasons money is so tight. Well, literally, that's the reason money is so tight. You need a bunch of items there, and then you need spells in the next town. The game is not being particularly generous with money yet. And you wonder, when is the game generous with money? After you don't have the ability to spend it. That's when it'll finally be generous with money. Or if you get 1,000 gold up there, you move down to see Narek, and then this treasure vault here for the dwarves has a whole bunch of cash. Either direct or for items you can sell. We give over the nitro powder to Narek, and Narek is going to start blowing things up because Narek is a dwarf and likes blowing things up. Rhokubee up to Canaria, not terribly far off. Maybe 2 minutes. That general ballpark, but again, that's not very much on this run. I mean, 2-hour run if everything's going good, so 2 minutes is not that much over the stretch of that. And then also got a couple of possible RNG blocks in the near future that can tighten things up. And we definitely have them late, if not. But really, your goal is just to go out, play your best game, have some fun. You're playing FF1, fun is the order of the day. This whole thing basically started because we're like, oh, we haven't done one of these yet. Anybody want to have some fun? Let's do one. So we decided to have the first Pixel Remaster tournament. That was the entirety of the logic that went into it. Funk is on the trek to Melbourne. The good news is that means you're making progress in the game. The bad news is that means you're going to Melbourne. Rhokubee having a bit better luck with the Black Mage HP at this point. That is one of those things that certainly matters. Now, it's not terribly important where your HP is at right now at this stage of the game, but the higher you are now, then theoretically the higher you're going to be at the end game when you really, really need minimum levels of HP for those Black Mages. Here's where we sell off the stuff that we had acquired so far, and use that to make the fire spell purchases here in Melmond. AoE fire is great for dealing with undead. And did we mention that Lich is undead? Well, that's interesting that Funk is putting some extra armor on the fighter. You don't regularly see that. Particularly because the fighter doesn't tend to do a lot of fighting anymore, as in basically you don't really rely on the fighter for any more bosses. So I wonder if Funk is breaking out a different strat? We shall see! Canal is made for Rhokubee. And Funk is diving through the Earth Cave. Earth Cave, home to many annoyances. You can certainly get poisoned here. You can also run into jerkbirds that like to turn you into a statue, but we're actually looking for them. We're going to make use of them. They won't show up until the 3rd floor, but something to watch out for. There are unrunnable Piscadine. I'm sorry. In any other version, they would be unrunnable. Gotta stop myself because you can run from basically everything in this game except for bosses. Club full of ogres there for Funk. That's a very rewarding encounter. It is rewarded with a few more levels. Spread across his party, of course, just one each. The first 2 floors of Earth, you're generally not that worried about the stuff you run into, although you can run into some very good encounters. The arachnids are not one of them. Rhokubee has reached Melmond. Fire spells are a definite pickup here for both black mages. There are silver armlets, bracelets for sale that are a nice defensive pickup if you have the cash. Pretty rare that a runner would get here with enough cash to do the fire spells and the silver bracelets. Rhokubee on the trek to the Earth Cave now, as Funk is about to reach the 3rd floor, unaffectionately known to me as the floor of frustration. It's not a nice time in basically any version of the game. The gargoyle's doing a number on Funk there. That's one of the other things you had to buy back at Canaria. This long shopping spree is as many Phoenix Downs as you're buying for quite a while. So Rhokubee about a full floor and change behind at this point. You can gain or lose a lot of time to menus, and unfortunately, very little of that is in your control. Now, if you're not worried about healing poison, then you might be able to save a few frames. Rhokubee is currently not worried about taking that antidote off, taking that poison off of the fighter. See how far that goes, as the trolls come out with some monster hits to Rhokubee's black belt and end up taking out Same. First sighting of the jerkbirds over there for Funknasty, and here is where we need them for a very important task. They've already done one of them. You want to turn the fighter and the black belt into statues. They need to be afflicted with the stone status. We've got one of those so far. And as you may have already seen, enemies will still target party members that are turned to stone. And we end up taking advantage of that throughout the course of the run, to the point that the fighter will remain that way for the rest of the run. The black belt, we want to do it temporarily, and by temporarily I mean like 40 minutes. Rhokubee did not like how that fight went and has opted to go back to the last safe. Ooh! I think it was at the end of that floor. That's a long way back. I wonder if that was a shortage of Phoenix Downs caused that issue. Seems like the most likely culprit. And the Jerkbirds are being jerks for Funk here. They're just not turning that black belt into a statue. Funk has decided it's time to just move on from this one. How big a jerks are the Jerkbirds? Even when you want them to do stuff to you, they're not good at doing it. That's definitely being jerks. The Pisca Demons come out firing the crit one-shot against the Black Mage. Didn't have that much HP to begin with, and has absolutely no armor at this point. It's just the starting cloth armor is all that's on the Black Mages. Fire is not the right element for the Pisca Demons. They will resist fire and ice. They will not resist thunder, but Funk did not have AoE thunder. Alright, Funk has made it through and is just about to the vampire. Let's see how this goes. Earth Cave's been unkind to both runners thus far, which is typical. Vampire will go down to the 2 spells. You just need to actually be able to get them off. Funk does, and will be rewarded with another level, as well as the Star Ruby, which is necessary for progress. These wraiths are giving Rhokubee the business! Meanwhile, just the 3rd floor doing 3rd floor things. These mummies just make up the most boring encounter of the game. This one will just put you right to sleep. They inflict the sleep status. Actually okay for rewards, but not really what we're looking for at this point in time. Rhokubee hasn't restored magic, so doesn't have a good AoE way to clear this fight. Hopefully does not get stun locked. One mage still up to run. Not good. Not good. They take out the one who wasn't stunned. Now they take out the other Black Mage. Now it's a stun-locked Black Belt. This is probably going to be a death. I don't think Rhokubee had saved on this floor yet, so should be back to the start of the floor, the autosave. And it is. Funk's got the Jerkbirds again, and will look for a chance to get that Black Belt turned into a statue now. Well, they are missing a lot, and this is not the fight you want them missing a lot. You want them to get that status inflicted. There it is! Funk's finally got it! And A big old buffet of experience there for Rhokubee. Just takes 2 spell charges to get through it. Levels are not super critical right now, but it is important to reach a minimum level. Really, you want your black mages over 130 HP for Lich. But more importantly than that, you want 6 fire charges available to you. So you have to be high enough level to get those spells unlocked. Rhokubee trying to conserve on the antidotes by hopefully running into the jerkbirds before healing the fighter. But it's actually pretty important that you want the fighter to be alive so that you can be turned into a statue. This route is not really set up to do it elsewise. You could just roll through with the party members the whole way. That is technically an option, but it's going to require more healing, and the turns are going to actually make things go significantly slower than they do on the statue strats. So I expect to see Rhokubee revive the fighter here as soon as this is done. Looks like Rhokubee wants to try and find the jerkbirds before the vampire. I don't consider it terribly important to do it before the vampire. I wouldn't be particularly worried about getting the stone status inflicted until it's the dive to Lich. Even if you don't get it done here at all, you still have the option of getting it done in the ice cave as a backup strat. So that's a lot of chances for the jerkbirds to show up, and I don't tend to worry about forcing them now. Though commonly you will have them one of the first encounters of this 3rd floor and have your statue making done before you get to the vampire. And goodbye to the vampire on Rhokubee's side, as Funk is gonna feed the Titan. As Rhokubee is picking up the food to deal with another Titan. By the way, there is one overworld enemy that we do like to see around here, which is the tigers, because the tigers have a rare drop of X potions, which are a full HP restore, and that comes into play later in the game. And by later, I mean the final boss. Earthron pickup for Funk. Finally getting you away from that hermit who just wants the world to leave him alone. Sarda doesn't do anything at all to help until we go there and just pry it out of his hands. Force him to turn it over. Funknap getting the rare drop. And Rhokubee is trying to force the jerkbird encounter here now. And again, I just don't like doing this because there's too many other opportunities to get them. You've still got floors 3 and 4 on your return trip to Earth Cave, and then you've got the Ice Cave where you can also get them. So, alright, I think what Rhokubee was doing was just saying, alright, I'll take 1 or 2 shots at it, and if I don't get it, I'll move on. And I can respect that. I just do not believe the right play would be to sit there and keep grinding it out until you get the enemy you were looking for. Funk looking for an extra encounter before this cave, I assume has a magic spell to burn, although this is not the enemy you want to burn it against. And no spells to burn, is manually attacking. Well then I'd run away, because these are wolves and they're stupid. The tents restore MP for every level, so I wonder if Funk was just thinking, okay, let's get some efficiency by burning some of the level 1 spell charges. Rhokubee has reloaded here a couple of times, and I understood that for not taking the deaths, but good chunk of time lost there on what I think is the 3rd reset, so this is just not working out too well. This is the downside of not having the statues, is now you've got 4 characters to heal instead of 2. You absolutely do not want the monk to die. The fighter dying is not great either. But just a bunch lost for Rhokubee here to all of these resets. So chat, as Funk begins the dive to Astos, and Rhokubee is trying to get out of here alive to get the Earth Rod. What's for dinner? A couple of you have been talking pizza. Anybody able to top pizza for their dinner choice today? Gargoyles are a really annoying enemy because theoretically they're not that strong, and yet they just have a habit of doing really annoying things. Barbecue chicken mac and cheese, leader in the clubhouse for chat's dinner choices this evening. I respect a good barbecue Saturday. Back to floor 3 for Funknasty. Rhokubee is trying to get to the Earth Rod. As for myself, this was a catfish night. Had a nice fish place nearby I went to. Ogres for Rhokubee. Served extra crispy. On Funk's side, the Black Mage HP is still pretty low. And gotta be hoping for at least one more level before Lich. Rhokubee's HP is okay. I do agree with leaving the fighter down right now. I think that's the right choice to get back to the 3rd floor of Earth. Actually, does Rhokubee not have Phoenix Downs? That could be a problem. That could be a pretty big problem if you don't have Phoenix Downs. And it might send Rhokubee all the... Well, Canaria is the fastest place to get back to from there. That seems to be what Rhokubee has to do, so... That really explains why the reset strats were happening. Because Rhokubee just was in a bad place. And this would be a really bad place to die, because I think Rhokubee would be all the way back to Earth Cave. No! So chat, if you ever find yourself in that horrible, miserable position, your safety strat is to just dip into Melmond so that it resets your autosave at Melmond instead of Earth Cave. And even though you have to look at Melmond, it's worth the extra couple steps. Alright, so this is going to be a pretty sizable lead for Funk because of how that all played out. Fourth floor, here we go! Mostly the same encounters as the third floor. There are a couple of not unique, but different enemies here that are not on the third floor. You see the trolls show up again, that kind of thing. So there's the jerk birds that I was mentioning earlier do show up on this floor. And bats. Bats certainly show up on this floor as well. This time Rhokubee in a much better position getting back to the shops in Canaria. And gonna have to revive the fighter. It's that or the Phoenix Down, and the revive here is cheaper than the Phoenix Down. Still kind of a tough call. Because really you don't want the fighter taking damage until you get to the third floor where you want the fighter turned into a statue. And here Rhokubee's able to fill up on the items that were not purchased earlier. Final floor of the Earth Cave for Funk. Probably one more fight after this before Lich. And this could be a bad one, but the trolls so far are just hitting the statues. Ooh, ran away. Interesting. But a crit from the trolls probably would have one-shot the Black Mage there, so it could go very unpleasant. What is really unpleasant is Funk's HP. And basically, Funk I don't think can survive any of the elemental spells from Lich. I think Ice, Lightning, or Fire will kill you here. So Funk needs Lich to stay away from that for at least 3 turns. And that is a thing that can happen. Let's just say that. It is a possibility that can happen. But Funk is rolling the dice, and Lich is saying you do not get to survive this run. So even though one mage survived it, the other mage is not going to be able to do enough damage. So this is already a rip, and you just need Lich to finish the job. Which Lich says gladly. If the other Black Mage gets off 2 of the fires, you can maybe finish it with the 1, but it's still a tall order. And we may cook, but we're not short orders. The fire's coming out for Funk. Lich takes it for the first turn. Free first turn as Lich attacks one of the statues. The second round of fire comes out. Lich gives us another free one, trying to cast Hold against one of the statues. Third turn is asleep. That's okay, but not great. Fire in. We're going to switch to Lightning the next turn on that Black Mage. Haste. That's great for Lich. This will probably do it. And Funk is through the fight. So that was Lich getting the RNG necessary, not doing any of the elemental spells. Into the Sage's Cave for Rhokubee. It's time to get the Earth Rod. Funk definitely got the better of this Earth Cave against Rhokubee. Next destination is going to be Crescent Lake. Now, for a while, we're not overly worried about anything except it is nice to hit 30 intelligence as quickly as possible. There's breakpoints for spell damage every 10 intelligence points. So in particular, the Thunder spell we're going to pick up out of Crescent does significantly, substantially, whatever S word you care to use, more damage once you have 30 intelligence. And that's the difference between killing a bunch of enemies by one shot and not so much. Now with all that Earth Cave money, Funk is going to pick up the silver bracelets and vastly increase the defense for these mages. So Funk is once again sailing the seas. Money is not in a great spot now, but it's not as tight as earlier. You certainly want a bunch of ethers at this point, as well as the next spell that we're going to buy in Crescent Lake. Outside Crescent Lake, our enemies have scaled up a bit, and the spell charges aren't necessarily great for dealing with them, but it's a good place to burn off what you've got and maybe get a little bit extra going into town. Now here, Rhokubee still needs the Jerkbirds to do their thing and turn that fighter in black belt into statues. So that's just one more thing that has to be done at this point. Usually it's already done. But Rhokubee just couldn't get that RNG earlier in the Earth Cave. And if you're running lean on resources, which we kind of saw for both runners buying minimal potions, then the extra characters being alive is just going to have a snowball effect, because you need them to not die before they get turned into statues. So that was extra potions, antidotes, something the like, and really messed with the strats for Rhokubee. Now trying to get everything to work as the dive to Lich continues. There's the Jerkbirds. Got 4 chances around for them to do what they need to do, and they're, of course, being completely uncooperative. Now, the other unfortunate thing I should say about doing it now, even though I totally felt that this was the right play, was to just go ahead and wait, is your magic defense is a little bit higher. And the higher magic defense means that they are less likely to inflict the stone status. And we certainly want them to do that. And yeah, given that this is late in the run to be going for this, I absolutely would be sitting here until they do it. But I would probably kill one or two of them off just to kind of control the fight a little bit better and make sure they don't go wild after turning Black Belt into a statue. Because now it's pretty important that you get them killed, as Funk has picked up the canoe from the sages, and Rhokubee just needs to get through this fight. There we go! Now save that sucker, so you never have to do it again. No, really, Rhokubee, save! Save! Do the quick save, Rhokubee, do the quick save! Oh, Rhokubee, what are you doing? Please, Rhokubee, please, do the autos, do the quick save! Funk with the canoe is starting the journey to the ice cave. There's the menu for Rhokubee. Did he quick save there so fast that I missed it? I mean, yes, you're probably okay to get to the floor transition, but I would always save after finally getting that setup with the statues. I don't think Rhokubee has saved yet. This is nerve-wracking to me to watch, chat. My nerves are racked. Mummies with sleep touch. But Rhokubee's through it. Rhokubee has gotten to the plate, and now we're in the clear. Okay. Now we have the game's autosave as fallback point. All is well. You know, if things had just gone horribly wrong on that floor, and Rhokubee had lost the statues, I'm not saying that would be unto itself rage quit worthy, but it would be incredibly deflating as a runner. You would have a really hard time recovering from that. I had that situation in my race with Chainsaw where I knew it was over. I kept playing for a while, but I knew it was over and just decided my goal was a Tiamat 1. And I did it. But you can really have the wind taken out of your sails when something like that goes wrong. Especially for as time consuming as it's been for Rhokubee. That was probably, all told, at least a 5 to 10 minute range of loss. Purely on trying to get the stone status inflicted. And the net result that happened from that of having to heal, having some deaths, having to go all the way back to Canaria. You know, these things can just add up sometimes when the game doesn't want to give you the RNG. Ice cave for Funknasty. Chad, anyone have ice cream today? I did not. I did have a Frosty the other day, though. Rhokubee has reached the Lich! As we saw earlier, needs to get the fire charges off. Now, Rhokubee has enough HP to live through one AoE magic spell from Lich. 2 are going to be auto-death, of course. but in pretty good shape now, having gotten 2 turns off. Lich is going for a bunch of things that don't matter, so all 6 charges of fire coming out here for Rhokubee. Nice. All good. Lich is down for Rhokubee. Time to move on. I actually wonder if Rhokubee's got an extra level and is already 30 intelligence. Not sure. Flamesword pickup for Funk. That is worth some extra cash. Ice Cave is pretty good for that. There's a lot of money available. Depends on how much effort you want to put into getting it. Rhokubee is through the Earth Cave, and that has to feel good to be back in the light of day. Oh, Funk's gonna come over to the ice armor? Is Funk planning to do some fighter strats? Or is this just money pickup? The ice armor is gonna be a guarded box, and that's what Funk is going for. So either this is a big money pickup that you rarely see, or it could serve as end-game armor for the fighter. Very interesting. I imagine there's a pretty hefty price tag on that ice armor, but because of it being guarded, you rarely see anyone make that play. Alright, if Funk is going down to this room, then this is a big-time money play. I would hazard a guess that that means Funk is planning to purchase Pro Rings early, and this is getting the money to do that. Frost Wolves in these last 2 boxes. So risk reward, are you willing to invest to do this? And so far Funk is. That's, I mean, it's probably 3 extra fights plus the boss fight, plus the monster box fights. So probably 5 or 6 extra fights for Funk to do this. That's a good investment of time to get everything that was picked up. Meanwhile, Rhokubee is about to get to the Crescent Lake area. Frost Wolves show that they are non-trivial. Oh no! I don't think... Okay. Yes, Funk had saved... In fact, Funk had saved a couple of times because Funk saved before the dragons as well, now that I think about it. And I hadn't realized Funk had saved after that fight. But all is well. That's not a big loss. Here you've got a free ether. There's 10,000 gold in the room beneath this one for Funk. There's also an ice shield that's very good money. Now Rhokubee shouldn't need as many potions because of the extra trip to Canaria, but that's not much of a time save here. Spell purchased, and that took all but 400 of Rhokubee's gold. But finally, it's canoe time! And here comes the I for Funk. And there goes the I. The lava stone is obtained, and Funk will be moving on to get the airship, as Rhokubee is going to make the trek to the ice cave now. Picked up a lot of extra money out of this ice cave. How is Funk planning to spend it? I'm not entirely sure, but as I mentioned, I think that's probably going to be a bid for pro rings. Rhokubee into the river system and making the trek in the direction of the ice cave. Funk is trying to get out of it alive. It's a little bit easier when you can save all over the place. It does make for a more friendly ice cave than when you can't. Last floor of the ice cave for Funk. Scorpions here just to be jerks. But what isn't around to be jerks in this game? There is a lot of things that exhibit jerk-like behavior. So for Rhokubee, there's nothing to worry about in terms of a race setting. All you can do is just focus on playing the best that you can and try to let the game come to you. And it certainly can if RNG is a little bit better, a couple things work out better, but just trying to be crisp in your movements and your menuing, that's all you can really do is just try to focus and play it the best that you can play it. And in terms of a race, that's all there is to worry about, is play what you were dealt the best you can. Funk is probably one more fight in this river system. There it is. Nacho. And time for Funk to go get the airship. In this version, there are mind flayers. To answer your question, Will, they're called mind flayers in this version. They are here. They do have death touch, but we're much less susceptible to it because it doesn't have the NES bug, and also magic defense, so that works better. So I'm not sure I've personally seen death touch work on my people in any run yet. Plus, they'd have to actually melee you, and overwhelmingly they're going to melee the two statues who can't be affected by death touch. So they're not quite as scary, at least not for that reason. But Trance can certainly be an enormous time waster. Gonna get an airship. Takes flight and comes to Gaia. It's nice and due south to get north. And gonna make the spell purchases. Should have enough money for 2 pro rings if that's in the plan. Goes ahead and buys 3. There is one that's pretty easy to pick up for free in the Sky Castle, so you could save the cash there. I like to do that to be able to do the upcoming purchases with the fairy bottle and whatnot. How big is the lead right now? It's about the ice cave, pretty much. Not sure if Rhokubee's going to take the exact same route or vary it a little bit, but is picking up less things in this ice cave, so there's a little time saved there. But yeah, it's about a solid dungeon lead right now for Funk. A couple of pickups here that are very important. The X Potion and Elixir in the Cardia Islands is important because we need those full heals. To the waterfall for Funk. Ooh. There's the eye for Rhokubee. And we'll obtain the Leva Stone. Now, the waterfall for Funk. The enemies of Waterfall aren't necessarily that hard, but they're a touch annoying to deal with when we're trying to go fast because they all require different elements, different spells to kill them efficiently. And it's really a pain to be rotating the elements instead of just auto-battling. So that's kind of what gives the waterfall its particular flavor of unpleasantness. The golems, their HP is not that high, but they resist the elemental spells, so they're kind of annoying to have to deal with. I think Rhokubee's got one more fight after this one to finally get out of this ice cave. And the waterfall treasure room now for Funk. The cube is a necessary plot progress item. The ribbon is absolutely essential to be able to beat bosses as we get to the end game. And then there's otherwise a whole bunch of money that we will put to good use. Cube obtained for Funknasty, and Rhokubee is out of the ice cave. Actually had a pretty decent ice cave. There was a wipe reset involved, but definitely a ice cave than Rhokubee had from the Earth Cave, which is probably best forgotten at this point. And the golem's giving Funk a bit of a headache to run away from. They can do that on occasion, though generally they're not that bad. If you hit them with enough spell magic, you can kill them, so it might be a consideration against the 3. Against the 1, you really don't want to waste spell charges or time. The mummies, when you start throwing 2 of the king mummies in, that definitely is a lot better rewards, so can be very worthy of a fire spell. And part of what we're doing right now is level grinding the black belt. We need to keep raising that level up higher and higher for the end game. Rhokubee, probably one more fight before the airship. There it is, some Sahagins, because of course the Sahagins always have to get the last word in on the seas. And why did it have to be snakes? Airship time for Rhokubee. Alright, shopping time! Oh, this was one of the vanilla unrunnables that was super annoying to have in this overworld area. With the Wizogre and Cerebrus. Underhill runs the caravan here, which sells the bottle that has the ferry. And then also has this bonus shop where you can buy giant tonics, speed tonics, things that we will be using at the end of the game as well. With the ferry rescued, is going to head back over to Gaia where the ferry lives to get the Oxyale. And uses the extra cash to pick up the ruby bracelets. Those would have been gold on the NES for comparison's sake, so they're the best armor that you can purchase for the black mages. Also technically for the black belt as well in terms of purchase, but we will be getting better armor for the black belt before the black belt will actually be taking any hits, so that all works out. Rhokubee onto the waterfall, and Funk grabs the Oxyale, soon to be headed into the Sea Shrine. Sea Shrine home to a couple of our most important treasure pickups. It's going to be the armor for the black belt, the ribbon, and the giant's gloves. waterfall time for Rhokubee. Looking for all the same good stuff that Funk got here just a little bit ago. And Funk is going to be on the way to save the mermaids. Here we are in Sea Shrine, or if you prefer, the Water Cave. You can call it either one, I won't judge. These sharks are decent, but they do take 2 spell casts to kill, which is a little annoying. Funk, probably 2 more fights till the mermaids. There's the second. And more sharks, because of course, more sharks. You know, someone once said to me, theoretically, right now, wherever you are in the world, there is a shark behind you. It's only a question of how far. Have fun with that thought tonight, chat. There is a shark behind you. It is only a question of how far. The Rosetta Stone picked up. That is our plot item necessary out of this dungeon. This floor, the highlight would be a light axe, which has basically no value in this version. In the PSP version, if you're glitching equipment, it gives you the survival vests, which is the best armor. So it's noteworthy for that purpose. These ghosts would be unrunnable in any other version. That is one of the changes of the Pixel Remaster, that they did away with the unrunnable encounters. So stuff like that you are able to escape from. I basically said of all of the Pixel Remasters, I would call them the definitive casual versions of the game. So if someone just wanted to play one of the retro Final Fantasies that they've never done before, Pixel Remaster is absolutely great for that. Speedrunning sometimes just drives us crazy, but when doesn't that happen with speedruns? Looks like Funk ran out of MP on the top black mage. We also don't get class change in this version. Just doesn't really give us enough. About the only thing you'd really gain with it would be the teleport spell. And if you're doing a fighter strat, theoretically you'd get better armor with the fighter, but you know, that's not really a lot of benefit, that is. Funk descending to the depths of the sea shrine. This floor important because it's where we pick up the giant's gloves and ribbon. Rhokubee picking up the blizzard spell now. That is later than Funk did it, and makes the money work out a little bit easier, I think. And also only one trip to Gaia instead of two. So there's advantages. The only thing you don't have is the high level blizzard spell for waterfall. And honestly, the only thing that would kind of matter for would be the green dragon if you wanted to kill it. Time for Rhokubee to get the Oxyale. The fairy's gratitude for having freed her from the bottle. Time for Monster in a Box for Funknasty. This is also kind of a last-ditch place that you could get the statue strats. I would not recommend it for a variety of reasons, but about the only reason you would be doing it here is if you had killed off the fighter and you just brought the fighter back up here for that fight to get turned into the statue. But it is technically an option. Rhokubee heading in to the sea shrine now. Fortunately, Kobe can't block the 1-block high path anymore because now it's a 2-block path. And we can scoot right around Kobe. He's a lot nicer that way. Funk getting the big eye fight, which is a very sweet amount of experience actually. And usually easier to kill than the sharks. Well, by usually I mean always. Funk on the last floor of the sea shrine. Nope. No, that's right, sorry. I'm okay, just tired. Chat, anybody else tired tonight? Those ghosts are never tired. So, kind of interesting that in the early game, Funk was having trouble with the Black Mage HP. That's kind of settling out a little bit better now. It could be better, but it's not bad. And Rhokubee is actually a little behind where you'd like to see it right now. Meanwhile, Funk, up to the Kraken fight. Heal up, restore everything, because we just want to spam Thunders and get through this thing. Kraken is not threatening until punches come out and hit Black Mages, then that's unpleasant. Kraken can one-shot your party members, we don't want to see that. Other than that, we should be fine to get through this fight. And as I said, the HP is not bad here from Funk, but still, Kraken can do some very serious damage numbers. Ink, however, is a completely free turn. There goes one Black Mage. The good news is Kraken's not going to hit that last Black Mage frequently, and Funk is through the fight. While Rhokubee has picked up the opal/diamond bracelet, the Rosetta Stone, and is ready to move on with the second half of the Sea Shrine. Water crystal restored for Funk, ready to get out of here and be done with this place. Those ghosts are interesting because they're like one of the highest strength enemies of the game. That was balanced by only giving them one hit, but the amount of damage they can do with that one hit is sort of surprising high. Funk is back in Melman because it's time to translate the Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone, named for the town in which it was found, and that was the French name for the town. I think the town was like called the Rose in French, which was Rosetta, and that's what they called the stone because that's where they found it. Rhokubee on the floor for Giant's Gloves and Ribbon. Last treasures you need out of the Sea Shrine. Funk is ready to pick up the haste spell. And maybe a few more ethers as well. And high potions aren't bad. High potions are good. They heal faster than regular potions. Although if you're gonna max the high potions, I'd actually sell off all of the regular potions, because 99 is enough high potions for the rest of the game. Giant's Gloves useful to us because they cast Saber on the user, and that is something we're going to take advantage of for boss fights later in the run. Not too much later at this point either. We enter Lefane. We needed the Rosetta Stone translated to learn their language, or else you get Lupa. And they give us the chime, enabling us access to the Mirage Tower. The Mirage Tower, our path to Tiamat. While Rhokubee, meanwhile, is on the path to Kraken and closing in. So the encounters here outside Lefane are largely the ones you would see in other versions of the Peninsula of Power, because the way they drew up the world grid, it ended up putting that little piece of land in the southern Lefane overworld area for encounters. Kraken time for Rhokubee! Of course, you gotta do all the heal things. Make sure you're able to get the Thundercasts off, and the HP is gotten okay for Rhokubee now. I was a little worried earlier, but the strong level up happened. Numbers look pretty good now. Or pretty reasonable, I should say. Maybe not good, but reasonable. The Thunder Blasts do their thing to Kraken, and Rhokubee is past the Fiend of Water. Mirage Tower, where enemies like to spam some AoE stuff. A lot of different enemies have AoEs here. But now we're armed with ribbons, and they will cut all that magic damage in half. So, usually it ends up being not much more than nuisance damage to us at this point. Transporter floor here for Funk. The Blue Dragon, which is somewhat notable, but not really in that it's the in every other version, this fight would be on a tile that you can fight over and over again, and they did away with that in this version. Instead, they put those cloaked enemies there who will respawn if you trade floor. So you can actually get this fight as many times as you wanted to, more quickly than you could for any other fight of that type. It just really doesn't matter to us at this point. This is the floor where you could get the free pro ring if you so wanted. It's over in the room on the right. Here's also the Razor, formerly known as the Bane Sword, that is in the southern room. And on this second floor of the Sky Castle, our final ribbon. Funk grabs that ribbon and readies up the black belt with the final setup of equipment. And Rhokubee is going to take a divergent path heading into the volcano at this point. This is interesting because what we usually see runners do is take this after Sky, because in Sky you bring up the black belt, which we're going to see here from Funk in about 2 floors. And then once you have the black belt up, it can pretty easily deal with carry Merilith, and I would assume that Rhokubee is planning to do it with spells instead, So we'll see how that goes. Funk is looting. Oh, Pro Cape. Okay. Not a common play, but alright, I dig it. You don't have many things that you can equip for shields on mages. Pro Cape is one of them. So, Volcano, a shorter dungeon. Might see both beans up at one time here. We're getting pretty close to that. Chat, it is Bridge of Destiny time if you so care to invoke. Now is the time. This is the point where many a runner will restore all the health before the bridge, just in case things happen. Funk took some extra time to make sure that the top black mage would be the one that has the Pro Cape equipped. It's not huge in its stats, but it does allow an extra option for just not taking attacks, because occasionally you'll get the shield. But you have to have a shield equipped to do that. And with that, we have reached Tiamat and Merilith respectively. Let's go. Rhokubee did restore the black belt here. So a few buffs to do that, and then also the black belt will be up for the Sky Cave on this route, which is why that surprised me a little bit. We'll see how it goes. In theory, it's another person to do the running whenever you're so inclined, but if you plan to do spell damage, then you have to defend a bunch. The good news is it doesn't take much to heal at this point, so you don't have to worry about it a ton. Merilith is definitely the easier fight of the two, but Tiamat being a little cooperative, and Funk is through it. Just a whisker behind Rhokubee getting past Merilith. So between runners, we have all 4 crystals restored, just not for one individually yet. They're going to have to swap dungeons. Funk, of course, has the shorter one ahead. Funk will go south to the volcano, as Rhokubee has already come north to the Mirage Tower. Does not have the chime yet. You gotta go to Lefane. Gotta go to Lefane first, Rhokubee. That's pretty important. That's not as bad as getting Lupa by any means. But anytime you make even a little mistake as a runner, you're feeling some frustration. Funknasty enters the volcano. Really not terribly eager to fight things, but if you can spam Blizzard and kill them, then hey, maybe some bonus stuff along the way. Diagonal walking was another quality of life that they gave us in the Pixel Remaster version. We take advantage of that in more than a few places, particularly overworlds very often. Chime obtained from Rhokubee. The NPC's getting in the way there, but in this version they will move out of the way if you're running up against them. Just sometimes they're a little painful to do, and have a habit of putting you in the wrong direction, or overshooting the destination that you want, is what I'm trying to say. They're just annoying, but let's just leave it at that. They're annoying. In the way, NPCs are annoying as Rhokubee is continuing to get through this. I'm sorry, Funk is continuing to get through this volcano. Now Rhokubee is ready for revenge against the Mirage Tower. Okay, that's the first time I've seen two enemies run away on the same turn in this version. Didn't even realize they could do that simultaneously, but fortunately they can, because that made things a little bit faster. Interesting. The more you know. Here's Merilith, the fourth and final fiend for Funknasty. Rhokubee climbing the Mirage Tower. Has a rendezvous with Tiamat ahead. Funk's HP at this point is not in a good place. You can solve that for sure, but is Funk going to want to take the extra time to clear some fights in Temple of Fiends, or just going to try and get there and hope that things work out? We shall see. The Black Belt has great HP. That is not at all an issue. The particular issue is that the Black Mages would not survive all of Chaos's spells, and being able to get that extra turn out of the Black Mages is pretty significant. Fourth crystal restored for Funk, and it is time to head to the Chaos Shrine. Doing some item ordering. I personally will just often take the sword after I get the high potions. It solves most needs, although the theoretically the full HP restores could be in a better place, but that only matters for one fight, and usually only once in that fight. Ooh. Got an encounter on the last step of the present. And time for... Well, Funk's gonna step out to heal first. Maybe use a cabin? Cottage, whatever. We went from 10 cabin, house to sleeping bag, tent, cottage. Ribbon for Rhokubee. And one more chance for the Bridge of Destiny is coming up soon, chat. We are on alert. Ooh, bonus eye. Very good source of experience. In extra levels are nothing to sneeze at this point. For chimeras, there a lot of what Temple of Fiends or Chaos Shrine Revisited does is give you the enemies you saw before, but in greater numbers. That happens with a number of these encounters. Alright, maze floor for Rhokubee. Looks like the up and right strat's very classic. It's really just vertical to horizontal to whatever combination you want to do it in, as long as it's the same too. You can't do a north-south, they have to either be north-north or south-south. Third complete heal pickup for Funk. That's pretty important to what we're doing to make sure we can survive a few more chaos fights than we could otherwise. And then finally we get to make use of the used musical instrument. The lute will break open that evil plate and allow us to continue on Chaos Shrine. A lot of enemies on this Bridge of Destiny for Rhokubee. But gets through and up to Tiamat. Ooh, the chimeras here are a nice experience, so this is a good encounter for Funk. HP is doing a little better. You'd like to see a hair more than that. Probably will get it by Chaos, honestly, at this point. Tiamat time for Rhokubee. Getting all the buffs on nicely here. Time to do some punching. Real good damage there with an 1800 opening shot. A couple more tempers. This one should easily break 2000. Yeah, 3 more tempers. And 2600 will get the job done. Tiamat is down without even breaking a sweat. Alright, Earth floor for Funknasty. The inevitable collision with Lich 2 is ahead. Lich 2 can be a bit of an annoyance. Not necessarily a gatekeeper, but can definitely cost some time to runners because of that flare. Flare doesn't really care that you have ribbons on. That formation of golems is a thing. It's definitely a thing. 6 of them, that's a lot of experience. And Rhokubee enters the Chaos Shrine. So, it is a distinct advantage now for Funk, but make no mistake, there is still plenty ahead at this point. Lich 2, here we go! Melee's the first turn, that's as free as it could be. Getting the buffs up is good. Another free turn from Lich. Let's get those attacks going now. 2200, another free turn from Lich. 2 free turns from Lich. Wow, that is the freest Lich you will ever see. That is the absolute nicest Lich fight you are ever going to see a speedrunner get in this version of the game, folks. Does not get any better than that. Literally the only thing that could happen better would be all misses against the statue fighter. And that's so trivial a difference, it's not worth mentioning except for completeness' sake. So I think it was Funk, yeah, who picked up the extra Pro Cape. I wonder if Funk's gonna pick up the Pro Cape here. It is! Funk's going for the second Pro Cape! The rarely seen pickup of this Pro Cape here in the fire floor of the Chaos Shrine. There you go. So both mages now with a shield, and there's a chance now. I'm saying there's a chance now that they could survive a melee attack from Chaos. Not hit, but an attack. What does the Pro Cape do? It's equipable in the shield slot, is the most important characteristic of it for our purposes. It also adds to the absorb, so it's a little more defense that the mages have. But most importantly now, when enemies attack, you can get a shield block out of the Pro Cape. I don't have any idea the odds on that, but they exist. So you go from 0 to existing, and for a couple of hard-hitting bosses, that matters. It can just happen one time, and that's an extra buff that a Black Mage is now able to get off that they couldn't otherwise. Merilith 2 down for Funk. I mean, to kind of do my best to put this in perspective, I do some challenge runs on the PSP version that has an equipment glitch, so I'm able to put something in the shield slot. And I will always do that at the earliest opportunity, just because it's going to absorb hits over the course of the run. And it's not that I have any expectation, but just the fact that it's going to happen adds up and it matters. Water floor for Funk. And if it saves you a potion right now, then that may be a menu that you don't have to do, and it can be a time save for that. So there's a potential payoff here. And it's just how much time are you willing to invest in going to pick them up, as Rhokubee reaches the Lich 2 fight. Question is, she has the highest monk HP of the tournament. Solid chance. Absolutely a solid chance, as Funk has a very impressive number up there. Lich fight for Rhokubee opens with the melee hit. Rhokubee's black belt's about typical HP range there. Could be a little bit better, but probably will be for Chaos. Comes out swinging for over 2,000 damage. Should see Lich go down with this hit. Goodbye, Lich. Terminated. And Funknasty is on the Kraken 2 fight. Kraken 2 plays a little bit nicer. Wow, there's that extra HP coming into play. That would have killed most black belts in this tournament and been basically a reset, a death reset against Lich. So it mattered. 2,500 damage, inks a free turn. I appreciate the high potion strats, well played. Coming out swinging, and Kraken is down. Rhokubee, meanwhile, is really only the water floor behind at this point. Okay, maybe waterfall plus sky, but this is closer than it was a little while ago, even. Oh, chat, are you feeling it? Are we gonna have a runner high five on Chaos? We'll see. Marilith for Rhokubee should be okay. Funknasty onto Tia 2. Tia can be a bit of a gatekeeper. Takes out one of the black mages. Not the one who is casting haste, importantly. Blizzard comes out. Ribbons to protect against that thunder. Very shocking, but still okay with the ribbons. Really only worried about a big melee hit coming against the black belt at this point. The buffs are pretty good. Here comes the swings. That's going to take out the black belt. No! Survived just barely. Just under 2,500 damage. Now the black belt is down. 2,600. Needs a good round here. That's a good round with the Blizzard. That's going to do it for Tiamat. Funknasty moving on to the final four. Question chat, do you get experience when affected by stone? Yes. That's actually how we level grind the black belt. The black belt gets almost all of the levels while being a statue until the very end game. Final floor for Funknasty. One random encounter about to happen. Here it is. It's just some stone golems getting in our way. There is no such thing as cheating with the monk HP. Any HP we get is good HP, and by no means certain against this chaos fight. What it really does, though, is means you're only going to use 2 Giants tonics here instead of 3. So when you're able to do that, you get an extra buff available to you than you otherwise would. We'll see how Funk makes that play. It's chaos time! A big old 20,000 HP to get through here. Black Mage down, as is tradition. You need a lot of buffs to be able to deal the damage here. Black Mage down. That's not good, because Funk did not get a haste. All melee, all the time from this chaos. You can keep doing the sabers. Funk's gonna revive trying to get the haste. I don't really like trying to save the fight that way. I understand the logic as Chaos continues to melee, and Funk was able to get the haste off as a result. So, proving me wrong, but I would actually just Saber in that position personally. Keep stacking the Sabers and hope it works out. Forego the haste. But Funk has been able to get a lot more buffs on because of the ability to revive those black mages. And there go the black mages to the blizzard. Kraken 2 down for Rhokubee. This might be a spot to have the black mate belt healed completely. Gonna do that, and time to swing. Let's see what we got. No, gonna Saber more. Or was that a Protect Ring? That is Saber. Okay. Chaos has cooperated a lot with reasonably friendly turns. Here comes the attack. 2300 is pretty low. 31. 5000 damage so far. Good time to heal. Maybe even Saber more. Not going for it. Alright, I'm good with that. 7,000. About 10,000. Close to 12. Little under 12. Got a full heal here. Got it off. No, it was only a high potion. Is that all that Funk has? I think so. Gets a couple in though. We were at about 12,000, so 15. 17. Needs like 3,000 more. Got it! A first try Chaos for Funknasty. $2:23.19 for the official time, and that is very GG worthy. Rhokubee takes down Tiamat 2 and is on the Chaos floor. Funk, that is a well-earned GG. How about that black belt HP?
Yeah, I was hoping to get the mages a little bit higher toward the end, and just take punches, but yeah, I didn't expect Chaos to start with 3 straight punches to the non-stone character.
I think it was something like 5 punches in a row.
At one point, the black belt took a couple punches in a row right to the face, so I'm like, I probably named him Balboa, but I was like, Sterling is probably a better choice.
Well, for a night where a lot went wrong for Rhokubee, here's Rhokubee starting the Chaos fight now.
I'm gonna move my camera out of the way so I can see.
Well, we already have a black mage down, much like you saw. But closed the game out very well for Rhokubee, but had trouble, particularly with Earth Cave. Was just a nightmare. There's Flare, and that's just nothing you can do. Not this early in the fight.
Alright.
Well, it also felt like through Earth Cave you had a few things not cooperate for you. Was there any particular highs or lows that stood out to you over the course of the run?
A few spots where I thought I was one fight away from like a level, or I thought I had an AoE spell left, so I was like, oh, I'll just burn it. That way, give me a chance to get another chance to get bonus damage and switch, and I was like, oh, I miscounted.
A little better start here for Rhokubee. punched Chaos for 16. I don't think that was intentional. I think that was an auto battle gone wrong.
Yeah, because I don't think that 16 is really going to make a difference at the end. It comes down to it.
Not often, although you got Chaos by not too much extra to spare. I don't do an exact count, I usually just count by the thousands, but I don't think you even had 200 to spare on that last hit.
Usually, if I'm counting, like, especially like during speedrun, I count the hundreds, so then I'm trying to, like, people will hear me say, like, 35, 70, like 105, as I'm counting down the, but, yeah.
Haste on Chaos, that makes for some monster damage, but Rhokubee comes back with some monster 5,000 damage. Can he survive? Haste on Chaos, that's a free turn because haste does not stack. Here comes the next hit, a big hit from Chaos, a big hit from Rhokubee, 10,000 damage already in. Free turn, let's Rhokubee get the heal off! If Chaos will stay to spells, this is going to be Rhokubee's to win. 4,000, that's about 14,000, probably a big hit, and that's it! GG for Rhokubee! And both of you getting it done tonight on a first try Chaos. I mean, 2 people getting consecutive first try Chaos is not common. Oh, I need to catch my breath after that. Well, Funk, probably the most important question is, have you had fun?
Oh, yeah. And I've learned quite a bit from going back and watching the races with the people that ranked higher on the leaderboard, trying to figure out what's getting them closer to the 2-hour mark than what I'm doing.
Rhokubee, welcome in. It's rare we see 2 runners get a first try Chaos, but you got it done in nail-biting fashion.
We'll call it second try Chaos, actually, but I'll take it. My main question is just how? Like, I had a good early game, and then Earth Cave happened, and I didn't get birds again.
That happened.
I didn't get birds again, and then I needed more items, and yet, how?
I'm fairly speechless. I mean, the item trip had to feel bad. Was it just a money shortage that you didn't go in with enough, or did it just consume that much in Earth Cave?
No, so at that point, I'm fine with like 3 Phoenix Downs, and I was like, okay, I'll see if I can make it through with 1, and it just kept eating my items because everything wouldn't be nice. And I mean, I didn't have enough money for, like 5 antidotes. So, of course, stuff's gonna poison me, but like, potions and ether-wise and Phoenix Down-wise, I was fine. So, it shouldn't have been that bad. But I guess just not running into birds means you have to keep track of more HP totals, so it ate up more than I was expecting. And I just felt really far behind at that point. Because, yeah.
Well, let me take a moment and hype up what's coming tomorrow. We got a 9 a.m. race. That's Pookie and... I haven't actually heard this name pronounced, but... Hob, yeah. And then 12 o'clock is Hob versus Panariku. So, plenty of fun tomorrow.
Yeah. So.
And you don't have to go back to Earth Cave tonight, I promise.
Thank you.
Funk, any final thoughts for you tonight?
Really, let's just try and be safe and go through first trial and everything.
And Rhokubee, any final thoughts tonight?
Birds are jerks. But definitely keep track of your items.
Very true on both counts. Chat, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hope you're entertained. These two gave us quite the show. Make sure we get the runner links in chat, except the bot isn't working. Thanks, bot. But you can look them up by their names there on Twitch. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night, everybody.
See you guys later.